5 minutes to go in free practice 2 then, and Nicolo Bulliger is back in the pits, as is Toprak Razgatlioglu. Then Jari Montella, third fastest. He's still out on the circuit, as is Alvaro Bautista. Be interesting to see where Montella's times are if he stays out here in the closing minutes.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a timing problem for Gardner because it looked on the timing screens that he'd gone back out, but that was probably because he had that Sector 1 crash. But for Remy, hopefully he's able to get himself back out there after that crash.
As we pick up Jonathan Ray at the moment down in 16th position, but this looks like being a fair chunk of progress for Ray with 4.5 minutes to go. Just see his time across the line. Vandermark in front of him on track sets a 1:34.252 and Jonathan Ray 1:34.422.
Johnny looked like he ran out onto the paint there on the exit at turn 15 and might well end up losing that lap time. A little bit like this morning as well, lost a lap time because of yellow flag infringements, but definitely for Ray, there's little shots of encouragement there as well, or shoots of encouragement, but it is what happens in the Superpole session that matters. Now that the track temperature's gone up, the gap between him and his teammates gone up as well a little bit.
Montella, for the record, his pace has begun to drop off now. 1:34.161 last time around, so half a second slower than his fastest time in this session, but it was a great one for him and for Barney. Petrucci making his way back out onto the circuit now, as is Andrea Iannone, as we watch Locatelli crossing the line with a new personal best for the day. Oh, that's making a big dive as well to get some track position. 1:33.877 for Andrea Locatelli. So 8th place in this session and fractionally ahead of Dominic Egerter. Egerter's on a really good lap here as well in our final flurry as ever of lap times at the end of the day in Superbikes. This is Alvaro Bautista. This will be a new personal best for him if he gets the final sector right. It is 1:33.654. It's not his fastest of the day. He went 0.3 faster in FP1. So it's Bulliger, Razgatlioglu, both exiting pit lane now, coming through the first sector, who lead the way ahead of Montella. Bautista in 4th ahead of Petrucci, and only a 1/10 of a second between Montella, Bautista and Petrucci, and then little more to separate them from Alex Lowe's and Dominic Egerter behind. So big group of riders really from 3rd to 9th places, all covered by just over 2/10.
Yeah, even if you go down... Oh! Scott Redding into turn 1 there, and big shake of the head for Redding, and he's been able to collect that one, and you can see down in the team they know how close they came to a lot of work.
Yeah, fastest lap of the day from Scott Redding so far to put him up into P10 this afternoon. It's only P14 on the combined times, but at least it is something because he was mired down the order for much of today.
Yeah, it has been so tough for Scott and for the team, and obviously there was all the question marks between Most and this weekend about their future, but this is down into T1 for Scott. You can see their bike gets put on its nose, and the second that rear wheel comes back in contact, really unsettles the bike. Some bikes work well on the nose, and some bikes don't give you that confidence whenever you get that rear contact again, and Scott just having a big moment there, but at least lives to fight another day.
Yeah, it must be said that for Scott, the testing, lack of testing is a bit of a disadvantage. Everyone's been here so recently. Okay, the track conditions are different because they're hotter this weekend, but still, you were talking earlier on about riders putting in over 100 laps, so you are on the back foot. You are on the back foot right from the start.
Yeah, we saw Toprak had 195 laps over the course of 2 days, and do you want to give a head start to these guys? You really can't afford to, and I think that for Redding to get himself up into the top 10 in this session, he's still 14th on the combined times, but he's one of the riders that's found something in the afternoon, and that's going to give him a little bit of encouragement going into tomorrow.
Yeah, actually a few riders have failed to make an improvement this afternoon. Bautista, Bassani, Gardner, Lecuona, Vandermark with all his problems, and Ryan Vickers we saw in his pit box earlier on, as well as Sam Lowes, who obviously hasn't set a lap time in FP2. Jonathan Ray coming across the line. Just Ryan Vickers has set a new personal best to go P14, 1:34.265. So that's good from Vickers to get into that big pack of riders all the way down. Jonathan Ray across the line last time around, and still down in 17th place, so not ultimately the good start to the weekend that we thought it might be for Ray after his strong testing times.
Yeah, I think some riders will be thrown in that X tyre now to be able just to see what it does in these high track temperatures. 46 degrees now is what we're seeing on the start finish line. and obviously everyone just trying to figure out what they need to do in terms of tyres. What's been interesting this year is Alvaro Bautista a lot of the time has had to opt for harder tyres to a lot of his rivals at different times whenever it's been on that knife edge between the softer and the harder tyre, and for most of the session it looked like Alvaro was out there on a harder tyre than some of the other riders.
Checkered flag falls then, and Nicolo Bulliger has just about squeezed on for one more lap. Toprak Razgatlioglu hasn't. He was behind him geographically on track as well as behind him on the timesheet. So it does look as though Bulliger will finish P1 ahead of Razgatlioglu. Montella with a startling display. Petrucci within a tenth of a second of his teammate in P5, and Bautista between them. Locatelli in at 6th. He's on for an improved lap last time around. Alex Lowe's just come out of the pits, which will give him the opportunity to make a practice start. Eggerty, Iannone and Redding rounding out your top 10. Vickers with another new personal best lap on the final tour for him, a 1:34.149, so 1.4 down on P1, but only half a second from P3. Locatelli and Bassani to watch in the final sector. It's one behind the other. It's Bassani in front on track of Locatelli, and they come to the line now and see whether either can improve. Bassani improves to P10, Locatelli improves to P5. So Bulliger, Razgatlioglu, Montella, Bautista and Locatelli your top 5, with Petrucci in 6th. And that's Remy Gardner's Yamaha once again being wheeled away through the gravel trap. So a disappointing and difficult day for him.
Fast there as well. That looks like it's turned 12 or 13 at the end of the lap, and that's as quick as it gets around here. You can see for Remy that he's had to take a bit of a battering through the gravel there as well.
Yeah, not the way that he would have wanted to end his day, but at least it didn't happen at the start of the session and cost him a load of running. Obviously, the checker flag had already fallen. Let's go through your 3-2-1 as ever then. Jari Montella, third fastest in FP2. That's good enough for fourth on the combined times as well, behind Alvaro Bautista. 9/10 of a second down on P1, the time set by Bulliger. But Barney Ducati celebrating their young rising star with his third place finish in FP2. Second place for Toprak Razgatlioglu. So roles are reversed compared to earlier on today, when in FP1 Toprak topped the timesheets by 2/10 over Bulliger. Toprak does improve his time this afternoon, but Bulliger still finds a way to pull out another 2/10, a 1:32.722. Hot pace on Friday here in Misano.
Yeah, it really is, and Bulliger doing exactly what he needs to do. Anytime Toprak asked him a question, Bulliger answered it with a little bit more pace.